Hey, how's it going, Jacques?
Good, and you, mate? How you doing?
I'm not too bad. I can't complain. What you up to nowadays since you can't coach because of the lockdown?
Well, I've got the wife helping me with some stuff, and then she's making me do. Yesterday, I was doing dishes. So if you saw my Instagram, she
Yeah.
caught me. She took a video of me. She's got me washing the cars, doing some chores at home, just so that I don't get too lazy. But we're watching Netflix, a lot of podcasts, things like that, and
So
then
you,
just refreshing
so
on my
it
cricket
sounds
stuff.
like you're keeping quite busy.
Yeah, well, you have to, eh? You're in 24-hour lockdown. What else must I do?
Yeah, exactly, man. Anything cool that you're watching on Netflix at the moment?
I watched actually a thing called The Circle. So I watched
Yeah.
it with the wife.
Oh no.
So it's no, you must listen to this. So it's actually pretty cool. So it's people that go in that it's a social media concept thing, right? So they
Yeah,
all
yeah.
go
I've seen a
into.
bit of it.
Oh, have you seen it? Oh, okay. Yeah, so I thought it was pretty cool. And it was a guy called Chibi. I liked
Okay.
him. I thought he
Yeah.
was absolutely
Nah,
brilliant.
that type of thing's not for me, mate. I'm not into the whole reality TV scene. Nah. I don't know, man, because it always feels like those guys are like they trying to be real, but they're actually acting. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't buy into it most of the time, but yeah, I know a lot of people who like it. So yeah, glad you enjoyed it. Anything sport related that you managed to catch up on?
Okay, so another thing I've been watching, right? Two things. So one thing is I've been watching a thing called The Ultimate Beastmaster.
Okay.
You must watch that. Now that is pretty cool. It's got so these guys come from all over the world, so China, USA,
Yeah.
Italy, and then basically compete on this obstacle course thing. So a lot of the guys are like parkour guys,
Okay, that's
gymnasts.
cool.
Yeah, you must see them fail. I absolutely love it when they smash their faces.
Yeah.
It's like some guy. He had like a hip injury. A girl cut herself open. It's crazy stuff, crazy stuff. But it's really good. You must watch it. And
Yeah.
then I've watched the test
Yeah,
on
that's cool.
Amazon.
Yeah.
That was pretty good as well.
So yeah,
So that's
I
cool.
also watched that a couple of weeks ago. It was really good to see, like, the behind the scenes. I like those types of things. But for me, like with the test, for example, it's just like that was made with a specific purpose in mind to
Yeah,
get the public to support the Australian cricket team again and almost fix their image. So like from that perspective, I think they achieved their goal tremendously well, and it was well produced and well put together. But yeah, I think that was it for me. It's just like it's made for TV, so you enjoy it and you go on that ride with the team. So it was quite cool in that way. But I don't think it's anything more than that. I don't think it shows too much about what actually goes on behind the scenes because they obviously edit quite a bit.
yeah. So I was going to ask you now. Do you think a lot of it was maybe staged as well? Because I thought some of the scenes were a bit too much in certain areas and stuff like that. They
I
were
don't think,
emphasizing too
yeah,
much on it.
I don't think it was
So
staged, but I think they obviously cut the footage in a certain way to increase the dramatic effect. And in
yeah,
hindsight, when you have players commenting, obviously they can cut back to certain things to have more of an effect. So, like I said, yeah, just well put together. I don't think it was staged in any way. I think people do certain things. I mean, you know how it is when a group of guys get together.
yeah,
I mean, you've been on enough teams. I'm assuming to know that type of banter that goes on in the dressing room and so on. So yeah, fairly accurate from that perspective. Nothing too dramatic, but I just thought, yeah, it was well put together to emphasize certain points that they came from a low point. They recovered the image. They reintegrated the two guys and Cameron Bancroft actually. And then, they went on
yeah.
to have a good World Cup and retain the Ashes and whatever. Pretty much, if I could sum it up, I would say it's pretty much just a fairy tale.
Yeah, it was like I watched it and I was like, I think I even told you, like, I really enjoyed it. It was really good because you saw some things that you like. I don't normally think that's what's going on there.
Yeah.
Like certain
Yeah.
things that they were doing and stuff. And I was quite surprised with some of the stuff that they were putting in.
Yeah.
But like you said, they did the story and the storyline of the whole thing was pretty good. And I think they did a good job and succeeded in what they wanted to achieve. So it was pretty good on that side.
Yeah. I mean, it's like good entertainment. So yeah, speaking of cricket, so a nice little segue here for us coming back to you and your journey within the sport. Um, just a little bit maybe from you. I know you don't play that much now. It's obviously a bit challenging. Besides for the lockdown, we've been trying to get a couple of cricket games going, and we just
Yeah.
haven't been able to find the time, facility, or whatever the case is. Because over here in the UAE, the facility is probably the primary challenge. And I know you're quite keen to get back onto the field, and so am I. But in the past couple of years since you've moved over to the UAE, have you been playing much?
I played a little bit of indoor cricket. So there was a South African group of guys that actually my friend Carl, we used to play a lot of cricket together. And
Yeah,
he's moved recently to the UAE as well. So he got me on this group and we went to go play in Al Quoz for a couple of games. In the beginning, it was really good. But as everything, yeah, it fizzles out after a couple
yeah,
of weeks. Like I think we did it for 2 months and then everything fizzled out. We even
yeah,
played one season at the ICC Academy,
yeah,
but yeah, that wasn't our scene. And I think after
yeah,
that, everything just fizzled out a bit. We still have the group. Guys are still talking about playing cricket and stuff like that. But I think for most of it, yeah, it's hard with the lifestyle and stuff like that. But
yeah.
maybe after this lockdown, I should drop a message there and say, hey guys, who wants to play cricket? I think everyone
Yeah.
will be keen.
The only
So
challenge there, I suppose, is it's going to be quite hot. So outdoor games might be a bit challenging, but definitely indoor cricket is something that obviously gets played quite a bit over here. But that problem you mentioned, I mean, I played a lot of indoor cricket over in Cape Town. We had a team with some family and friends, and it was like more. I'd say it's more of a social team that we had. Just to see each other every week and have like a game out. But the problem was always consistency, and people just can't commit regularly.
yeah,
And I'm sure that was something that you were struggling with, asking me a couple of times if I want to come play at the 11th hour. And you can't just have fun, man. Like you
yeah,
don't want to be running around 30 minutes before a game looking for players. That just not a big fan of that. But anyway, that's indoor cricket for you. But as a player, I know you're not the orthodox type of player. So tell us a bit more about your left arm leg spin.
yeah. So a ball left on leggies. Well, try to ball left. I think if I was really good, I wouldn't yeah, be busy training, getting ready for the next test match or something like that. But yeah, so ball left arm leggies, bat. I used to bat 3, 4, but now the eyes can't see so lacquer anymore. So I'll
Yeah.
probably bat like 7, 8 now if I had to play again. But yeah, so I used to be top order batsman and ball left arm leggies, but mainly bowling for me.
And were you always a left arm leg spinner?
No, so that changed when I was 10. So basically, what happened one day is we had a game, and the coach at that time said we were in a spot of bother and we had to win the game. And he said, guys, he called the TV and said, listen, can anyone bowl spin? Because if there's someone that can bowl spin, we're winning this game today. And everyone looked at him, you being a 10-year-old. So I made a joke. I said, well, I bowl spin to my dad in the back of the garden. So he goes,
Yeah.
okay, you're bowling next over. So I was like, okay. So get the ball. So I bowl, first 2 balls, walk back. He goes, you're never bowling pace again. He says, do you actually know what you're doing? I'm like, no, I'm just bowling spin. So I didn't know I was a Chinaman bowling leggies. And the ball was turning and he just couldn't believe it. Like he looked like a kid that just got the best present ever. And
Yeah.
at that point, I didn't understand. So, but yeah, that's where it all changed for me drastically.
Okay.
I was never allowed to bowl pace ever again.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So
not that common to have a left arm leggy in your setup, so that's quite cool. And then yeah, how far did you manage to get with your cricket? Because I know you played quite a bit, but
Yeah.
to tell us a bit more about the level that you ended up playing at.
So obviously played first team in the primary school, first team high school. I played representative cricket for the district. So that went every year. Um, Even played in a year above. So under 14, I played under
Yeah.
15
And just
for
to, I know
1 year.
we spoke earlier about being in Dubai, but when you were playing cricket, where exactly was this? Because you're speaking about districts and so on. So
So I played in KZN,
okay,
KwaZulu-Natal, Durban.
yeah,
Yeah, so I was a Pinetown boy. Went to Gelofte, Black Afrikaans schooltjie. So yeah, but it was nice because in primary school we were quite a strong team. So we had the quickest bowler. He made Natal schools,
yeah,
and we had a guy that could swing the ball in and out, and really had a very what do you call it? You can call uh, thinking of the word now. Balanced side. So really good balanced side. We had
did you just
everything.
think of the
So
word in Afrikaans and then
it's
translate it to English?
no, I was thinking for the English word. So in primary school, we were quite competitive. So we played all the strong schools like your Westville, your Highbury, Thomas More. So in primary school, you could compete. But once you get
Okay,
to the high school was really weak.
yeah,
So we didn't play like your Westville, your Glenwoods, those type of school. I think we played Westville in our trick year. We
yeah,
played their second side, which we ended up beating quite convincingly. We asked for the first team, but at that point, guys wouldn't take risks, and a lot of our guys ended up going to Westville, Maritzburg, because in primary
yeah,
school, when you're so strong, they end up leaving. So yeah, so played for Pinetown in districts because that was the district that I was in. So I played right from under 11 right up to under 17, played district, played KZN indoor cricket,
yeah.
played a lot of club cricket. So played for, at that time, it was Forest Hills Cricket Club. So while I
Okay,
was in school, I
yeah.
played for them. And then went from them to Chatsworth United for a season.
That sounds a bit more familiar. I was gonna say, I know a couple of teams from the Durban scene, and Forest Hills wasn't one of them. So Chatsworth, I think there's another one, Railways.
Yeah, so Railways was Division One, but Chatsworth
Okay,
United was in the Premier League division.
yeah,
Was a bit at Rovers for a couple of weeks. I didn't really like the vibe there, and then played a couple of games for Collegians, and then I stuck at UKZN. So I
okay,
played for them,
yeah,
and then played for them till I came here. So
okay,
which
cool.
was quite
So
cool because we had a
with
nice coach and things like that.
okay, awesome. So with sorry to cut you off there, mate.
No,
With
no problem.
because I just thought of something there quickly. So you mentioned UKZN. Is that just the team that you played for? Because I know that a lot of times you can actually play for universities without actually being a student. Or did you
Yeah.
study at UKZN?
No, so I studied at Varsity College, and then played for the University of KwaZulu-Natal.
Yeah,
So, like you just said, I was so they have fees for people that are students and then people that are not students.
yeah,
So we just had to pay those fees and things like that. So I ended up just playing that which was probably out of all the club cricket, that was probably the best time that I
yeah.
really enjoyed. It was a nice group of guys. We had a nice group going, so that was probably the best part. And the competitive, not the competitiveness, but the idea of trying to make it, that went out the window. So it was just having fun and things like that.
So by then, by the time you were playing for UKZN, you pretty much just accepted that you were just gonna play cricket for fun. Is that fair to
Yeah,
say? So what
yeah.
brought about,
So
what was the moment when you knew, okay, you know what, I'm not pursuing cricket as a career anymore?
So I was in, so I got to the end of high school and my dad said to me, listen, you got to make a choice. What are you going to do? You have to study something. I didn't want to study. I said, no, I'm going to keep going at this cricket thing. I'm going to
Yeah,
make it. So he said, okay, but what if you don't make it? You got to do something else. I said, okay, what's the closest thing to playing cricket? Oh, sports management. I said, right, I'll study sports management. You want me to study something? I'm going to study sports management. So studied sports management. And then in my first year, I failed 2 subjects.
Oh, nice, man.
And yeah, my dad came to me and I heard about this where you can go to the UK and you can go play cricket there. So he said, right, so you can you can jump out of university, right? So and then say, right, it's a fail, didn't happen, and I'll send you to the UK. You can go play there and try your luck because we're still
Yeah.
turning 20, so we're still very young.
Yeah.
And he said, but the decision is yours. And I was like, yo, well, I'm 20, so if it takes me like 2 years and it works, then I'll make maybe the first side there. Then, you know, to start getting to the ages, and I was like, okay, it's either that or I carry on. He's willing to pay for another year. Carry on, and let's see if I can. So I ended up choosing studying over the cricket. So I think that was the turning point for me, is what my dad gave me an option and I ended up just making decision. Whether I made the right decision, we'll never know. But I think I did. I think I did.
Yeah, you seem quite comfortable with the decision, you know, having gotten to know you over the past couple of years. Seem quite content with where you're at the moment. So from that experience, you know, you mentioned that you failed 2 modules. What was that experience like, and what do you think you learned from that?
Well, it was tough. I was never really a studying guy, so it's very hard for me to sit in a room study for 3-4 hours straight on, and it's tough. I lose focus quite quickly when it's things like that. And when that happened, it was also 2 subjects that I really struggled in, like financial management was the one. And that was a module that you had to pass to graduate. And the other one wasn't that important because you could fail it, but it's not like a must. But I ended up passing that as well because my dad made me, because he paid for the thing.
Yeah.
But I think the financial management one was really hard because I also didn't have maths in high school.
Yeah.
So it was a real challenge for me. So I said, well, I've given the cricket up. So if I fail this, what's going to happen to me then?
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I ended up just cracking at it, did the studying part. I even got my sister, which was 7 years younger than me, to help me with the work. She was able to help me. My dad helped me. He knew a lady that he could get in to help me out. So just asked friends and stuff, and I ended up passing it. So I'm happy I passed it.
Yeah, well done, man.
Yeah.
Sounds like you persevered through the challenge, which again, it speaks about your character. And obviously, from getting to know you, I've seen that obviously in the way you coach and go about your business, and we'll come back to that a bit later. But something I wanted to ask you while you're on that point is, you mentioned that you got into, or you studied sports management because you just wanted to do something related to sports and work in the sports industry. Is that the same with you taking up coaching, or is there a different story there?
Well, the coaching basically started because I had to make money to go out and stuff, because my dad ended up paying for my studies.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you're young, you want to go out, you want to enjoy the time, you know, you're a college student now, you want to enjoy that life. So I had to make some pocket money. And all my mates would do, they were bartenders, they were doing that. I tried that, failed miserably. I'm the worst bartender in the world. So I couldn't do that. Then some of them were waiters or waitresses and stuff like that. I couldn't do that. So again, closest thing to sports, coaching. So my coach that used to coach me while I was growing up in primary school, high school, he wasn't like that much involved because he was part of the primary school, but our school was one school. So we had primary school and high school. So it was combined. So he still had influence on our cricketing careers going forward. But anyway,
Yeah.
so he brought me in. He said, "Listen, come coach first." So I was like, okay. Ended up giving me the under 10 A cricket team, and he gave me the under 9 um, A rugby team, and he gave me, I think it was under 11 hockey team. He wasn't too phased about hockey because we're Afrikaans school, so he didn't care too much about that. But he gave me an 11A hockey team. But what you
Yeah.
must remember, small school, so your A team, you probably only have 2 teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with like the hockey, there was only 1 team. But anyway, so yeah, he gave me the teams, and that gave me pocket money throughout the year because it gave me coaching first term, second term, third term, fourth term. So he basically opened a little door for me. I didn't know what I was doing at that age, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
If I look back now, yeah, probably the worst coach ever. So,
Yeah.
but I think I was there for the boys, and I think that, and well, we had some girls as well that played some
Yeah.
of the sports and stuff. So I was there for them, and I like to think I helped them out at that age, but yeah, not sure.
So with that experience, I mean, starting at that age group and getting involved in coaching, when did you realize that, you know what, you actually enjoy this and it's something that you could do, you know, as a career?
I think after I finished studying, you have like, and I think this is the tough part, is after you study, you don't literally like fall into a job. I think everyone that graduated in my class, I think two of the like A+ class students,
Yeah.
they didn't even end up going into the sports industry because
Yeah.
they weren't getting jobs. And then 2 others, they fell into schools and stuff like that. So while I was studying and coaching, I got another coaching job with a big mate now called John. He was working
Okay.
for Sharks Kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
so he basically worked for Sharks Kids. And I got a job with him, and after finishing studying, I was just jumping from coaching job to coaching job. Like I was doing 3 different coaching jobs. So I was
Yeah.
coaching at Gelofte, I was doing Sharks Kids, and I was doing PE in the mornings at another school called Kloof High School.
Okay.
So basically, I just do coaching. So that's how it started. So again, little doors were opening up, but it wasn't like a
Yeah. Yeah.
full-time career. So while I was doing that, I got some opportunities. You will not believe this, but I used to put in, these trellis doors you get in South Africa.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So one of my good mates, mom, she's the branch manager for a company called Magnador.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
Okay.
not
I
a
know that.
this is not a
Yeah.
plug-in. So
Yeah.
it's not a plug-in. I'm just mentioning it. But again, she gave me an opportunity when I didn't have a full-time job. So I was doing that on the days I didn't coach. And I
Okay.
think that was a good turning point because in the days that I didn't coach, that was very physical, hard work. I had to
Hmm.
use a drill, use walls,
Yeah.
and put plugs in and put these heavy. And I was like, one day we were driving back home, and I was driving with the guy that, because I was his assistant,
Yeah.
and I was just thinking, and I have a lot of respect for him. He's quite good at his job and stuff like that. But I was just like, I wonder where he would have, what was his dream job,
Yeah.
and where this is what he wanted to do. And
Hmm.
I was just like, no, this is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
So again, luckily, door opened up for me, and I got a um, job at Gelofte to be the sports manager. So
Okay.
before that, I got so this John guy, wherever he ended up going,
Yeah. Yeah.
I went with him.
Yeah.
So you know how it works. So
Yeah.
we went to a school called Kingsway. It's a high school in Mamson Toti.
You're
right?
giving me a
And
geography lesson about KZN.
bro, I've been at all the schools. I've even been a boarding master, believe it or not. So I've done it all. so, so while I was at Kingsway, I was also, like I just said, the boarding master at Westfield Boys High. But that was only for a couple of months.
Yeah.
But I did it. So it was pretty cool. So I was coaching at Kingsway, and this opportunity came up. That said, okay, right, Gelofte needs a sports manager. So luckily the school knew me and stuff like that. So I said, well, I'll do it. So at first it was like, just come do it, come help us out. So the headmaster was like, I can't give you a full-time job, can't give you like a full salary, but I can give you for the hours. So they gave me a certain amount of hours that I had to do in the morning. So I'll go in, do a couple of hours, and then do all the coaching. I was still allowed to coach at various schools.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's where it started. So that was the turning point. But going back to the Magnador days, that's where I realized, nah, this is not for me. I think I can do this coaching thing. I really enjoy it. It's a passion.
Yeah.
I enjoy seeing the kids develop, and like I enjoy rugby and cricket. So it was a good way to go and get my CV up, and yeah. So
Yeah, it
that's why
sounds
you
like
see.
it sounds like the experience kind of guided you towards a career in coaching. And with regards to coaching, did you have any formal qualifications when at the time, or what did you do before getting that job at the school? Because obviously you said you did your sports management, but was there any
Yeah.
other qualifications specific to coaching that you obtained?
So we had to do, while we were studying, we had to do first aid. So obviously I did that. And
Yeah.
then we had to do so I did level 1 cricket at CSA. Level 2 cricket I did as well, but I think I failed because they never called me back. So I'm
You
assuming
think
I
you
failed my
failed?
level 2. well, I never got a certificate. I never got a call back because they were going to call you back saying that you made it or not. I didn't get a call back, so I'm assuming I didn't make the crack, which I'm not surprised because I was 21 when I did level 2.
Yeah.
And in my group, I had HD Ackerman, and
Okay.
he went, with the assessments day, he went before me. Yeah, and it didn't go well. It was a very, very bad day. Like I get why these guys are commentators, analysts, because they really know their shit. So yeah, thanks HD. You probably cost my level 2.
that's that's actually interesting because when I met you, because obviously when I moved to Dubai in late August 2017, one of my first I think it was my first week when I started at the ICC Academy, they were actually running a level 2 course and you were on that course. So I didn't actually know
Yes.
that you had done your level 2 in South Africa previously, or well, attempted to do it. So
I did it. I just didn't get the certificate, but I did all of it. The whole week I was there, went through all the lectures, did the assessments. But yeah, well, good experience, man. I enjoyed it.
yeah. So what got you then to do the level 2 at the ICC Academy?
So I came across to Dubai, and I worked for an Australian sports company where they do
Yeah.
10 various sports. But it was mostly for like nurseries and little kids in schools, but up to, I think, 10 years. So it doesn't go past 10 years. And the company actually said that, if you want to go further in your coaching, we'll pay for it. So I was like,
Okay.
oh, okay, this is great. So I started doing research. So then I saw, the ICC Academy, they do level 1, level 2. So I spoke to my girlfriend at the time, which is now my wife.
Okay.
And so spoke to her, and I was like, should I apply for the level 1? But I've already got level 1. Should I apply for the level 2? Or should I risk it and apply for level 3? Say I did level 2, just didn't get the certificate. I try the level 3. So I ended up deciding, no, let's do the level 2. Let's see how it is, because I was curious to see how that would be compared to the South African one, because I've
Yeah,
done the South African one, and I'm glad I did the level 2. It was
yeah.
absolutely awesome, really, really good. Yeah,
It's funny
and
how
that's where we
these,
met the first time.
yeah,
So
and it's funny how these things all work out, man. Like you mentioned, failing at university
yeah,
and the opportunities that come with it. Like sometimes, or in the moment, you sometimes feel like, what's happening, and these challenges are you can't overcome them, and why is it happening to you, and stuff like that. But when you look back, you actually see it was an opportunity for you to grow and for you to overcome whatever challenges were in your way. And it's the same. Like, I mean, if you had actually got your certificate for level 2, there's two ways you can look at it. You would have either done level 3, or
yeah.
you just wouldn't have done the level 2 over here. And I'm sure the experience for you was something that you wouldn't trade away for anything.
Yeah, I think also, like, I think maturity is quite a big thing as well. I think
Yeah,
when I did it at 21, I honestly don't, I'm actually glad they didn't give me that certificate, because I wouldn't have, I don't think I deserved it at a maturity level. So I think when I did the second one, obviously the maturity levels were higher. The most important thing is I had a lot of experience behind me.
yeah, yeah,
Where when I was 21, I hardly had any experience. And I think that was a big plus for me, because the I think that's why the level 2 was so much better for me, because I probably understood it a lot better. I
yeah,
had a lot more knowledge to also bring on board,
yeah.
so I could also um, give my insight on
Yeah,
everything. So I think that that was the right time to do it for me, honestly. So yeah, it
it's
was
quite
good.
interesting, yeah, because like I also did my level 2 in Cape Town when I was 21, because that was the rule, right? As soon as you turned 21, you became eligible. And I think a
Yeah,
lot of us just do it for the sake of doing it. Like, it's there. We can get a level 2, so let's do it. But the thing that's missing, like you said now, it's the experience. Like looking back now, I learned a lot. I had a good group of people on my course. I got some good opportunities that came from it. But I think the experience probably a bit later on after having coached, I would have probably taken a different approach, or learned a lot more from the experience. So I definitely think experience is vital when it comes to doing these things. And even more important is probably the why. So what made you do it, and why are you doing it? Because then you're able to actually, draw out some really good lessons from it. If you're just doing it for a piece of paper, then generally you find you don't learn much, or you don't
yeah.
really get anywhere with it. But when you're doing it for the right reasons, like you're saying, the motivation was there at that time, then I think you definitely pull out a lot more from the experience.
Yeah, no, I agree with you totally, and I think now HT can come. I think I'll give him a run for his money. So
You
I think
probably could. You probably could. Watching your coach, if there's one thing that I think you'll definitely beat him on, is your preparation and punctuality. So you're quite a stickler for time, and I'll always give you a bit of grief for this, but you're always setting up like an hour before, when the expected standard is what, maybe 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes before. You're out there an hour
yeah.
before. um so where did that start? Like, where did the whole discipline
Ah,
disciplinary
yo,
measure come from?
I think it definitely came from my mom. I think as a kid, I I have the most respect for my mom and dad, because I wouldn't have had the patience to deal with me for so long. So, mom and dad, well done to you guys. Yeah, I would say my mom. My mom was very strict from a young age, because I took a lot of chances, and I really pushed the boundaries. And I wasn't organized. My time management was awful.
Yeah,
I literally, I'm not so the guy that you see now is not the guy that was when I was 10, 15 years old. No, two completely different. But I think my mom played a very big role. And
yeah,
I also think working in the school system also helped me, because everything's well structured, well organized,
Yeah.
and you have to be well organized and structured, because if you make one fixture mistake, it could blow up in your face. And one thing you don't want is angry parents. That's the one thing you never want
Yeah.
to come across.
Yeah.
So
So.
yeah,
Mm,
my mom, my dad, and then obviously the coach that we've been talking about, he's played also a really big role.
yeah.
Mr. Van Beek, he was also always very strict with
Yeah.
timings, very organized, very well, like planning wise. The sessions were always well planned
Yeah.
and things like that. So I think that played a lot of role, because he was quite a big mentor and someone I looked at during my early coaching years. Like we
Yeah.
would go out on a Friday or on a Wednesday afternoon and we would just talk sport, and we would
Yeah.
just talk about the coaching, and I would, like the cocky little South African Afrikaans guy that I am, I would like say, hey, why do you keep giving me these shitty teams? I want the big teams. I want to coach where you're coaching. And he'd always say, no, you're at the right spot for now.
Yeah.
When your time's right, you will go there. So I think he played a really big role in
Yeah.
my coaching career, and the discipline and things that come through now in my coaching. I think my parents have got to do a lot with that, especially my mother. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, it's cool to
that's where
see
I get
all
it from.
those or hear about all those influences, because it now the picture starts coming together. You can start seeing where you get some of those characteristics, and we often don't realize, but looking back now, you can actually think about where you actually develop some of these traits that you're using when you're coaching. So I mean, it's not exactly the same approach you would use on yourself or that was used on you, but it
Yeah,
sounds like you've taken your experiences and kind of evolved it into what you want to do as a coach. So as a coach, I know that you started your own business, or you pretty much run your own business at the moment. And you also said that you failed financial management. So very interesting that that guy
I
is now
passed
running
it.
his own. Yeah, eventually at the second go. What is up? So how has it been for you to start your own business, and what are some of the challenges that you face?
So when I was in South Africa, that period that we were talking about where I was jumping from
Job to job, yeah.
coaching. Well,
Yeah.
not jumping from job to job. I had them, but it was all part-time gigs.
Okay.
So obviously, I then started like one-to-ones at the one school.
Yeah.
And then obviously working for Sharks Kids in the later years when I got so when I was working at Gelofte as a part-time guy in the beginning, um, where they only had a couple of hours. I had rest of the day because our coaching would only start at, say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So between 12 and 3, I didn't do anything. So what I did was I sat one day, well, my friend that I worked with at Sharks Kids, we had a braai the one night, and he said, listen, why don't you do what we did at Sharks Kids? So I was like, well, what do you mean? He's like, you know what to do. You know how to do it. You've done it for 2 years with me.
Yeah.
You can just do anything. So I was like, I should try that. So I started in Takedown. So I got a couple of nurseries or preschools.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was part of my job thing. So I started doing that. And then when I left for Glenwood Prep, that was obviously, you can't have both, do both
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. I started getting my sister's friends to just do the coaching, but that's
Yeah.
where it fizzled out. But it was never really a massive thing. I think it was just filling up the gaps.
Yeah.
And I think that's helped me a lot to do my own thing. Yeah. So I think, again, coming back to like after leaving the Australian sports company job that I had, after
Yeah.
2 years, I decided to not continue my contract. So I was just like, okay, so what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
So I worked at the ICC Academy, but again, it's like, okay, it's not enough hours and stuff like that. So I just had to make a decision, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do the nurseries and stuff. And yeah, now I'm there doing it now, I think with a lot more experience,
Yeah.
especially with the planning part, the financial part, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I used to waste money. So that's definitely out of it there. And yeah, so, but I think, like you said, I feel you have to fail first,
Yeah.
and then you'll always learn from that. And I think that's what's helped me because the little sports academy thingy that was running in South Africa, that wasn't
Yeah.
really a successful. That was a short-term thing, to be
Yeah.
honest. It was just filling gaps. But if I didn't start it there, I wouldn't have been able to have the basics to get it going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
just in the
course.
right way.
Of
So
course. It's like you've been talking
yeah,
about the whole time. The experience that you had has taught you, quite a bit. And as long as you learn from experience, you can always move forward and be better. And speaking of moving forward, what does the future hold for Coach Jacques Stolz?
yeah, it's a interesting one. I mean, I really enjoy working at the ICC Academy. So I'm
Yeah.
obviously there at the moment, and then doing the nurseries and stuff. Yeah, um, I think I'm at a point now where you're gonna have to make a decision because if you if I'm going to grow the business to what it is now,
Yeah.
then obviously you're looking at a long-term thing, and obviously living in the UAE, you'll have to look at settling down in the UAE. So that's something that I'm probably going to have to discuss with the wife.
Yeah. You've mentioned
Because
before
I'm
that
not too.
you're looking at the UK as well. So any plans to take your business to the UK?
Yeah, so that's obviously an option. Another option would be to maybe get into the county system. I think that's always been a dream for me to get
Okay.
into high performance in the county system. That would be something nice and it's something new. I think I still have a lot to learn when it comes to high performance, from the high performance to the elite.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a good place for me to go and start and get that going. So yeah, I think that's definitely an option. I wouldn't mind going to an associate country, like maybe in the US,
Yeah.
experience a different culture of cricket and stuff like that. But I think going forward, really looking at cricket as the main concern, and obviously I'll always have the rugby knowledge and the hockey and things like that going
Yeah.
through the schools and stuff like that. But I think cricket will be the main one, and I think that's the main focus at the moment.
Yeah. No, that sounds awesome, man. Look, I wish you all the best in the future with your business, and I hope that it grows, the way that you want it to, and it takes you wherever you want to go with you and your family. Before I let you go, though, we're gonna just have some fun. I got a couple of questions that I'm gonna fire at you. We'll start off nice and easy, and then
Okay.
hopefully it gets a bit more challenging for you. Okay. So it's going to be something like this. So basically, for example, the first question would be Apple or Samsung.
Apple.
Yeah, pretty straightforward for you. Not even know how to use it. Or
No, no. Technology and me, no, we're not mates. It's like me and financial management. We don't sit at the same table.
yeah, but you eventually passed it. So okay.
Yeah,
Second question: Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
Okay, what are you currently playing?
Well, currently I'm playing Cricket 19, but I've also been playing a lot of FIFA 18.
Okay.
I like that. So FIFA's got this career thing called The Journey with Alex
Yeah.
Hunter. And I love the storyline and everything like that. So I've been doing that. But now I've got to get the 19 and the 20 because I want to finish it.
Yeah,
So,
and you also
yeah.
need to refresh your soccer knowledge or upgrade it a bit. So FIFA 18 is not gonna help you. You're gonna be behind.
Nothing wrong with my soccer knowledge. I know everything.
We'll test that on another day. Okay, question number 3. You have two choices. In terms of exercise, would you rather run or cycle?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think I'm going to say running because I've been doing that a lot longer than the cycling. But yeah, probably the body's more built for running longer distances than it is cycling long distances. That's quite a tough one. Yeah. But I
Okay.
think
Yeah,
with it, I'll say running because I've done that longer. But I enjoy both actually. So
that's not how the game works, Shark. You can choose one. It's either or.
Okay, running, running.
Running. Okay, cool. Now here's a bit of a tough one. Let's see. Who is the better fielder, Herschel Gibbs or Jonty Rhodes?
Chanti. Herschel cost us the World Cup. Stuff that. Chanti, hands down.
So you're gonna blame him
Sorry.
for that? Come on, man. Okay, Jonty.
Sorry.
That's cool.
Chanti. You said, hey, there's no in between. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
made
I
my
know.
decision.
Look, Jonty is the choice. I mean, you did give me pretty much the whole map of KZN, so I'm not surprised you went with Jonty.
Yeah, marriage to gold, boy.
There we go. Okay, I think you're gonna like this one. Uh, Conor McGregor or Khabib? I'm not gonna try and say the last name.
To be. Connor, sorry, Connor. Connor. No, hands
Are you
down,
sure?
Connor.
Oh, so why did you say
I'll
Khabib
tell you
first?
why. No, because I wanted you to say his last name because I can't even say it.
No chance.
Nurmagomedov or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Sorry,
Yeah, we'll leave that one
but
out.
yeah, no, definitely Connor.
Yeah, you're a big UFC fan.
Yes. I'm actually looking forward. I hope they make the rematch because I think it will be a lot different. Don't get me wrong, Khabib's a really good fighter, and I like the type of person he is and things like
Yeah,
that. But he takes guys down. I don't really like that part of the UFC. I like the guys knocking each other out, elbowing each other, kicking
yeah,
each other. That's what I like. So that's why I'm
bro.
going to go with Connor.
Before we get to the last question, I have to tell you about this. So it's interesting you talk about guys, the takedown and wearing the opponents down. Man, the first time I went to go watch, it wasn't UFC mixed martial arts, but it was the EFC, the Africa
Oh,
championships.
okay.
I don't know if you ever watched any of the EFC stuff. The first, I think 3 or 4 fights that we watched, nothing happened. Like guys were just rolling around on top of each other, and eventually they have submission. We're like, okay, so what now? Like, where's the action? And it was
Yeah.
a terrible first experience, but then I stuck with it and actually watched a few more fights, and it did get a bit more interesting. But man, I can't watch 3 or 5 rounds of people just rolling around.
See, that's the thing. But in Khabib's defense, I would say when he takes it down, he does hit them. But his game plan is to wear people down. That's what he
Yeah.
does, and he's excellent. He's probably the best guy that does it. But for me, like you just said, it's not. It's boring. I want to see guys get knocked out. I want to see guys get kicked in the face. That's what I want to see.
You,
It's
you sound
exciting.
like you have
But
issues. Is there something you need to tell us? You like
no,
violence?
I won't go. No. I like the sport. I think it's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, it is quite cool.
So
Okay, last question. This one is
yeah.
I'm hoping this is the toughest one so far. If you obviously if you begin to rugby, so you let's just say play a game here, you have to pick your Springbok team to win you the World Cup final. You have 2 choices for scrum off. The first choice is Ruan Pina, and second choice is for Ridu Priya. Who do you take?
Oof. Yeah, it's a tough one. Probably Farid Prayer. He's more consistent. And Ruan Pinar, he went from 9 to 15, where Farid Prayer is a number 9. He's more consistent. The only negative thing that I can say about him is that he played for a very long time for the wrong team. So that's all I got to say about that.
What team is the
But
wrong
great
team?
rugby player, the Blue Bulls. No, man.
Nah.
I can't believe he played for them. But he's good, consistent. I rate him really good scrum off. Ruan Pinar, yeah. No, he must go play fullback. I prefer him on fullback.
Okay, cool. Bonus question. We have to do this because obviously everyone's in lockdown, okay, around the world.
Okay.
So if you had a choice, who would you rather be in quarantine with? Okay, Joe Rogan or Dana White?
Joe Rogan. Yeah, gotta be Joe Rogan. Because I think with Dana White, you'll talk a lot of UFC, and he'll probably give you a lot of business insight, because I mean he went from nothing to he's like worth $400 million
Yeah.
or something. So he can. I think he's a prime example of someone that really has worked really hard to get where he is today. And I think Joe Rogan's the same. I mean, this guy started at Fear Factor. Remember
Yeah,
Fear Factor?
yeah, yeah.
That's where he
People eating
started.
random shit.
But
That's all
I
I
think
remember from Fear Factor.
it's him. And the eating part, like he made the show, to be honest. I think he made the show. But I think him, because he's got this podcast, but his podcast has like the people he gets on is like from
Yeah.
UFC fighters to wrestling guys to scientists to guys that believe in aliens. So I think the conversations with him would
Yeah.
just be endless. And I think we'd talk about anything and everything. So yeah,
Sounds
Joe
cool.
Rogan, definitely.
Awesome. Okay, Jacques, that's us for today. Thanks for your time. That was really fun
Brilliant.
getting to chat to you and to find out what makes you tick, and what makes you this very strict, timiest person.
Not that bad.
Yeah,
Oh
so
yeah,
this
listen, yeah, it's 5 past 1. I've got to go now. I've got to go. I've got next meeting.
next meeting. Yeah. Good luck, mate. Cheers.
Cheers.